Hey everybody, welcome back to the MMA Vivisection with me, Zane Simon, and my co-hosts, as always, Eddie Mercado. We're coming to
Hey,
y'all just from the end of UFC Atlanta, the State Farm Arena in Atlanta,
UFC
Georgia.
boring. That shit sucked.
I mean, they rescued a little bit back at the end, but like
Only with the co-main event.
I was at least entertained to watch Kamaru Usman put together a classic performance that I didn't think he had in him anymore.
Whatever. I never liked that. Like, I hate that style. Like, that's not
I mean, he
fun.
beat Buckley up. It wasn't just like he was hugging him on it.
Eh,
He did.
did he?
He did.
I don't know about that. He beat him.
Nah, he dropped shots on him in every round, and he did work. It was solid. It was okay. We got some people saying that it was dull, but I will defend it mostly because I thought Usman was totally shot, potentially.
So you're just like surprised at how much of a return to form he had is what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's not.
It
I
was
never
better.
liked his form to begin with, so I guess there's that.
It was better than 95% of the rest of this card. That's what I'll say.
Well, sure. That's not saying much.
It's really not. No, this was a terrible night of fights for the UFC,
Yeah.
by and large. Buckley, I mean, he's been a fighter for a long time, and I think it kind of got covered up because he's been on the, as my good friend and MMA Depressed Us co-host, Phil McKenzie puts it, he's president of the glue factory. He's out there putting old dudes away. And it's covered up the fact that he's not really as a technical performer, he's not an elite technician anywhere.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
Even striking.
even striking.
Yeah.
He's not an elite technical striker. He's not an elite technical wrestler. He's not an elite technical grappler.
He's an elite athlete.
He is. I mean, goddamn, is that man's cardio off the charts? It's Merab Dvalishvili kind of cardio without the actual control, but like
Or technique.
to get out wrestled like that by somebody like Kamaru Usman, and then come out in the fifth round and still have the dynamic speed and cardio to explode through distance and to shut down all those shots, like,
And the moxie.
yeah.
Like, just not getting defeated or discouraged whatsoever.
Yeah,
he's got to learn some technique somewhere along the way.
Yeah, and this was, I think, the wake-up call there, that he's been busting up old dudes on his way up the rankings, and he finally met one who still had enough gas in the tank to show him, no, I'm actually still technically better than you everywhere. You know?
Yeah.
And that does count for something. So.
Yeah, oh no, it definitely does. I mean, so like 3 years ago, this is how I would have expected this fight to have played out.
Oh, yeah. You take this fight back 3 years, I never would have picked Buckley to win it. Here it was like, does Usman have the knees, and does he have the cardio for Buckley to really go out and put pace on him, even if he has to wrestle and, his way out of stuff? Can Usman do that and keep up with Buckley round after round after round? Because Buckley is, man's fucking tireless. We saw it.
It might have been in the second round, but Usman shot from so far away and still got the double leg. And I'm just like, I mean, this guy's just falling over at this point.
That's part of it, but also it's got to be said, like, still one of my claims to fame, I scouted Usman back before he was on Tough, even on the regionals, and we named him the top welterweight prospect in the world. Went out and said it, this man will win a UFC championship. And one of the big things we saw watching tape on him back then was, like, we were watching his college wrestling tape and stuff, is this is something that doesn't fade over time, is that he was an insanely strong athlete as a shot wrestler, where like he did not have to get deep on shots to finish them just because his upper body strength is so ridiculously powerful. And I mean, that shot you're talking about in the second round where he shot from way too outside, he didn't get the angle on Buckley right, nothing, but he got a couple hands on him and then he just whipped him off his feet. And like, in part, Buckley's, he's thinking that he can just sort of Yuri Prochazka, vibe his way through a fight.
Yeah.
But on part two, it's just most fighters, if they got that same place on Buckley, they would lose it. Usman is really, he has that extra bit of strength there that most fighters do not.
Yeah, it's the extra bit of strength and the extra bit of skill to just follow through and like just the muscle memory behind it. Like that counts for a lot.
So, this was nice to see a great, like, blast from the past performance from Kamaru Usman.
Like, I'm happy the old guy won. Like, I will always be happy when the old guy shows up.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't that great of a fight for me.
Okay. I think by this point, I was so jaded that, like, Usman actually not just looking, like, too old to do it anymore and getting, being led to the slaughter. That was just a real,
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, I'm enjoying this for me. So, but somebody did ask us back here too, who can Usman still beat? Well, he can clearly beat Joaquin Buckley. But if we're talking like, because I mean, there's a question of like, can he contend again? He clearly wants to contend. I mean,
he could beat Leon Edwards.
Yeah, maybe. He certainly can get really close to beating Leon Edwards.
At this stage, though?
Yeah, with Edwards, the way he looks like he's just not enjoying it.
He can beat Colby. He could beat Gilbert Burns, Stephen Thompson if he's still fighting.
I will say the two fights in the elite that I would actually be interested to see how he would match up in them would be Sean Brady and Bilal Muhammad.
Kevin Holland.
Yeah, he can beat the guys at the bottom of the division. But, like, I mean, Bilal would be a fascinating one to me because, it's not like
that's what I would absolutely skip.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, I would be interested to see how it could go because it's not like Bilal.
I would be curious to check the results after the fact, but I wouldn't want to watch it.
Sure, fair enough.
Especially, ending a card, nah.
Yeah, but, no, I mean, I think this win and the win being as dominant as it is, he is in that place where if he just wants to float around for a while, he could end up with another title shot out of it,
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it would just have to be one of those.
The division's fucking stacked right now.
It is
crazy. It came out of nowhere. But I mean, you got Makhachev, right? Ian Gary, Sean Brady, Shavkat, like all these guys are, in my opinion, closer to the belt than he is.
They are, but he still sells better than all of them, which is why he could be in position to do it.
Yeah, I guess. And he's talking about taking the 185 strap.
No, yeah.
Shit.
No, I know. It's not going to happen. I'll be interested to see how long he can sit out, if he can find, one or two really high-level fights.
It would have to be like a short notice kind of thing.
Yeah. So.
But there's no way I would put him in there over, as I mentioned, for a title shot.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to get it over Islam. It'll just be interesting to see. And, once that happens, like, UFC might want to run Jack Della right back in there. They might. Who knows what they'll want to do, but.
Islam's going to win the belt.
Yes.
And then Shavkat should get his shot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, Ian Gary and Sean Brady need to happen maybe. Or even like Ian Gary or Sean Brady against Usman. If they want to do a title eliminator, whatever, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But it's Islam and Shavkat. That's the real title fight we're all waiting for.
Yeah.
Kind of been this, I don't want to say interim, but they're placeholders. Like JDM is a placeholder. Love to watch him. Super fun. Glad he got the belt. But like Islam and Shavkat, that is the welterweight title fight.
It is.
At least I want to see. Or like
it is, yeah. It's the fascinating one out there.
The highest level for me.
Oh, you have somebody asking too. Would you consider this a dominant win? I would. I think it was a dominant win. Like Buckley, the only point Buckley got into this fight was the 5th round with any significance.
I don't know. I think I disagree. I think round 3, the first half of the round, he was doing the better work on the feet. And then he got taken down and spent half a round on the bottom, and Usman evened up the significant strikes there. 4th round, I think Buckley won that round.
You're one of the 48-47 Buckley people?
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't. Usman had 2 minutes of takedown time with that. 2 minutes. The 3 minutes before that, Buckley was doing his thing on the feet. 5th round, Buckley definitely won. So
5th round, he definitely won.
I can't give that 2 minutes of top control with a little bit of light ground and pound the round. Like, that's not enough for me.
I don't know. I felt like this was mostly an Usman fight, pretty dominant fight until the point where he didn't have to control it that much. And I mean, Buckley, like I said, he rallied back. He's an incredible athlete, but
what was the strike count for the 3rd round?
Let's see. Stats. Usman, Buckley. If we are looking at total strikes in round 3.
Or significant strikes.
Significant was 8 and 10. 10 for Buckley, 8 for Usman. Total was 33 for Usman, 13 for Buckley.
That's what I mean. So, like, he got his takedown halfway through in the 3rd, and it was like pit or ground and pound. It wasn't devastating. They weren't bigger shots than what Buckley did on the feet.
I think it was enough to be consistent. The dominance was in the consistency, being able to do it every round. Buckley did not fight his way into that fight until the point where he had to get a knockout to win it.
I don't know. I don't think I can say Buckley got dominated.
I think he's going to feel like he got dominated.
Well, sure, but I don't think it was dominated.
All right. Fair enough. But yeah, otherwise, this was mostly to me just kind of refreshing to see Usman back in some kind of form. And we also have somebody asking if we thought Usman's striking looked regressed. I don't think so, personally. I think Buckley just presents that big of a danger. Like, Buckley is, if you look back over Usman's career, how many guys out there that put out a ton of output and throw with a ton of power has Usman actually faced?
Well, I was going to say Colby until you said the power part.
Yeah, where it's actually a danger for Usman to stand in there. And you've basically got like that win over Gilbert Burns, where Burns was doing pretty good, throwing big shots at him early in that fight. And Usman then landed a jab. But Burns is also a fighter who collapses when he gets hurt. So, I mean, otherwise, a lot of the guys he's faced are either very slow-paced fighters that hit hard, or they're very fast-paced fighters that don't hit that hard, or they're very easy to control on the ground, like somebody like Emil Weber-Meek or something.
Or old like George Masvidal.
Or what? Yeah, exactly.
Old, like Masvidal.
Yeah, old like Masvidal, who himself has never been like a huge knockout artist. Despite that run he went on with Askren and Till, or those two he had with Askren and Till.
And Diaz.
Well, he got a doctor stoppage against Diaz.
He beat the fucking shit out of Diaz.
He did, but that doesn't make him a knockout artist.
Nah, but like,
I mean, Joaquin Buckley hits with a lot more power than most of the guys. 100%. And a lot more consistently. He throws a lot more, and it's all power shots. I think, for me, technically, as far as Usman's striking work looked, he's never
been a great striker or an elite level striker.
He's been a guy who put a ton of work into a very awkward striking game to the point that it looked pretty good and he could rely on it pretty well. But it's never been something where like he could really get into like, you know, he got mixed. He got, there were points in that Colby Covington fight where he'd get 3 or 4 strikes into a combination with Covington and get clipped with stuff. Like,
I would say that his fights with Colby is the best he's ever looked on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the pinnacle of seeing him strike.
Yeah.
And like you were saying earlier, that's because the power coming back at him wasn't that much of a threat, despite a ton of volume. Just, I don't want to say leaf blower, but
no,
you know.
But it's, you know, a little leaf blowery. So yeah, I thought Kamaru Usman, to me, this looked honestly just like a really classic Usman performance. Whether people like that kind of performance or not, you know, but
I don't. But yeah,
and whether he can actually sustain that against somebody else with a little bit more of a wrestling game at the top of that division, I would doubt that. But
I would also argue everybody else above the rankings, above Buckley in the rankings, is a significantly better wrestler than Buckley is.
Yeah.
Significantly better.
I agree with that.
He's the rawest talent up there in that lofty air.
Mm-hmm. No question. So, yeah, hard loss for Buckley. He could turn around maybe, though, for a fight against... well, let's see. He could fight Carlos Prates.
Oof. That's probably the perfect matchup.
Yeah.
I'd
want to see that.
That's a scary fight.
There's also you could do the rematch with Kevin Holland too.
Yeah, Holland's coming off of a really good win, but I'm sure, well, Holland wants the easiest fight he can get, and if he's not going to get Colby, I could see him taking someone he's already knocked out. The welterweight rematch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's fun.
It would be fun. So those would be some fun options. And yeah, for Usman, he's probably in position where he's just gonna, you know, maybe just the right offer will come to him. Fight with Bilal. Or a fight against Shavkat or something that he thinks would be really good to get him a title shot. But otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if he just waits for a year and says, "I'll just wait and see if I can get fall into the title."
He's fucking old to be waiting.
Yeah, well,
he needs to be signing up for a backup role.
Yeah, that too.
Short notice kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a women's flyweight fight. Rose Namajunas, Miranda Maverick, your girl.
My main event.
Your main event.
My main event.
And a fun fight, solid fight. Maverick looked like she was doing pretty good, clawing her way back into this one a bit. And then she just got clunked in round 3. And that was kind of that, you know.
Well, no, she recovered after that. They had that crazy scramble.
Yeah.
Know, she got on top, but then got reversed right away. This fight was high level the whole way through. This was the best fight on the card. This definitely should have won fight of the night.
Yeah, fight of the night went to Usman versus Buckley, I believe.
Wow, come on.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. What the fuck?
I'm not surprised.
There were boos in that fight in multiple rounds. Hey, how is your fight of the night going to have boos in multiple rounds?
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. This was fight of the night. In fact, I wish this were 5 rounds. This fight should have been 5 rounds.
Yeah, it should have been. But this was a solid another solid performance for Rose at 125. I still just don't think she's. I mean, I'm saying this after she dropped Maverick, but still just don't think she's really got the horsepower for the division. But she can.
She did pretty good in the grappling exchanges.
She did. She did do well in the grappling exchange, and her timing on her takedowns was really sharp.
Yeah, and that's the speed advantage she has.
Yeah,
up at 125.
It's also just the decisiveness. I mean, that's the thing that's been bugging Maverick for a while in the UFC, is that she just doesn't seem to quite have it figured out exactly what she should be doing at any one point in the fight, like what her clear path to victory is. It's like,
right. And that's why I'm really glad that Rose pressed her the way she did, because you can't give Miranda time to process what's in front of her. If you give her the time to process, then she'll have a lot of success. But if you make her make like instinctual decisions out there, that's when things tend to fall apart.
Yeah. She gets caught up striking for really long periods of time pretty easily, even though her striking game is still just a very like functional building the pieces kind of striking game.
I think that's why she got dropped. Because Rose was coming right off of a takedown attempt against the cage, and Rose didn't reset in the center. She just got right in the face and started throwing.
Yep.
And like the fight was just happening way too fast.
Yeah, hard setback for Maverick. But solid gatekeeper kind of fight, gatekeeper kind of performance for Rose. And Maverick's been coming off enough success too. This isn't like any sort of, gonna really push her back again. But
no,
it was a
former champion.
Yeah, Rose is a former champion, and she's got a very good, consistent stick and move style that a lot of women in that division just don't have the footwork to be really well prepared for. And
she's got some danger everywhere. Maybe not danger is not the right word. She has skills everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. She can grapple. She can strike. She can mix things up.
Unfortunately for her, Miranda Maverick, part of the no neck gang, Rose tried to get that choke on her, and it looks like it's deep in there. And then you see it's just like it's like right over here on her head, because that woman's shoulders are like up there.
She's built.
Yeah,
she's built.
And then the moment she turned that into an arm triangle against Rose Namajunas, that's like, oh, this is way more serious, because Rose is all neck.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was tight.
That was.
Next to that knockdown, that might have been the closest this fight came to ending.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a really fun back and forth fight. Good, solid class performance. You're right. It should have been 5 rounds. For Rose, I don't know what that really puts her in line for. She's kind of
Natalia Silva.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should be doing Natalia Silva versus Valentina Shevchenko, but
I thought they're not doing Wei Li and Shevchenko.
I haven't seen an official announcement on it, but then I haven't been looking that carefully lately. So,
Jazz Devicius, she could play gatekeeper again.
Yeah, she could do Jazz Devicius. That would be totally solid. Seeing people say Alexa Grasso, that would also be fine, although
she just lost to Silva.
Yeah, that doesn't really, coming off a loss doesn't really make sense there. I would definitely, I would say if the UFC isn't going to do Shevchenko, if the UFC is going to do Shevchenko Wei Li, then you could do Natalia Silva versus Rose, or Rose versus Jazz Devicius. And I mean, Macy Barber is right there in that mix too.
No, stop it. Stop it, Zane. Stop it right now.
What's wrong with Macy Barber? Is she on your
She can't. She's like having health issues. She can't make.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
What are you talking about?
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, we had a whole main event canceled.
That's true. Okay. So probably Namajunas Jazz Devicius is probably the move to make just right now to keep Rose in that sort of gatekeeper to the elite role that this fight really served well for.
Yeah.
And that would be another fight like it.
Great night for Trevor Whitman.
Yeah, no kidding. Although, well, he's not working with Rose anymore.
What?
No, he hasn't been for a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah, she split. She kind of just. I think it's just Rose seems like a kind of a weird person, kind of a very like I've made a decision about how something is, and even if it's entirely in my own mind, I'm going to stick to that decision. The kind of person who decides like, oh, my long hair is making me too much of an object. I'm going to shave my head. It's like, sure, that's fine, but I don't think anybody really cared. And she just, she got it into her head at some point that she was intruding on Whitman's relationship with Justin Gaethje, and that she couldn't compete with him for camp time because Whitman only trains like a few people at a time.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to him. He says unless it's champions, he doesn't want to train them.
Yeah. So I think it was just one of those things where she just decided that it wasn't, she felt like she couldn't get enough. She couldn't get enough attention there, I think.
Could be. Or maybe it's like her like not it sounds like because you look at Gaethje and you look at Usman, and they're people who are very clear about wanting to get to the title.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not. She's like, whatever's next, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So that might have something to do with it also.
Who knows? But
it could have prompted a weird conversation.
Yeah, he was very much he was in the building because he was there coaching Usman. Whitman was.
Yeah.
But he was very much not in her corner. So. Yeah, and for Maverick, I guess bounce back out of this, down in the division now. I mean, they just cut.
No, he'll fight Alexa Grasso.
Yeah, she could fight Alexa. There you go. Or you got a fight coming up between Tracy Cortez and Vivi Araujo. She could fight. Has she fought either of those people yet? No, she could fight the loser of that. There's some solid fights right there. So, yeah, nothing that's like really jumping off the page at me for Maverick right now, but certainly she's not going to have a lack of next opponents. All right, that brings us to a middleweight bout and a rare event. Edmund Shabazian won a fight that went to round 3 for just the second time in his career.
I think even more shocking is he was defending takedowns.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big shocker against someone that can fucking wrestle.
Yeah, this was a solid. I mean, considering it was a boring fight, it was not the fight that anybody wanted to see.
Terrible.
We either wanted to see Shabazian absolutely light Petroski up and knock him out, or self-destruct and get subbed in a hilarious and tragic way.
Yeah.
Instead, he just kind of commanded the cage and stuck to his guns and landed 1-2s and kept Petroski more or less out of a lot of the fight, which is, for him, a really good performance. Like I said, he's won 2 decisions in his whole career. One was his split in his debut against Darren Stewart, and the other was this. So,
yeah, I mean, there was one exciting moment in this fight with that body kick and near finish, but other than that, skip.
Yeah, not anything really amazing. But Shabazian's now on back-to-back win.
Just the body kick.
Just the body kick. And now we need another like horrific grinder to match him up with. That is I
don't care who he
cruel pace fighter. So
I just don't care.
I know you don't care, but let's see. A lot of the division is booked right now, so I mean, I put him in against Abu Magomedov. Yeah, somebody else just mentioned that. That's a fight that makes a good amount of sense and would be two somewhat shallow, dangerous fighters who can melt down pretty badly. So, all right, that brings us to a bantamweight,
but only book it for one round.
Yeah,
make it a 1-rounder.
1-round fight. There you go. Bantamweight bout after that. Hani Barcelos, Cody Garbrandt, and
this made me sad.
Yeah, this was two guys that used to be incredible athletes, looking very much like guys that used to be incredible athletes.
Yeah, man,
that's
like Cody looked great in that first round,
and
then
all the energy just.
I'm not sure if he just got tired or if he was so worried about the pressure and the takedown or what the case.
I think it must have been tired because it's not like he, it's not like Hani Barcelos wasn't doing anything to him at the point in the fight where he was out there vibing and like having fun and dancing around and, doing all of his Cody Garbrandt stuff. He just did a bunch of that, and then Barcelos just kept fighting him and making him fight hard. And I think, he gets a little bit more flat-footed. He loses that little bit off of his speed and gets a little bit more timeable, and the game just feels way less special.
I was getting a lot of Sean O'Malley vibes off of him.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Like backing yourself up to the cage, so worried about the takedown that you're getting hit with some stupid shit that you shouldn't be getting hit with.
Yeah.
The sobriety thing, like not knocking sobriety, I'm all for it. The cornrows, like it just seemed very O'Malley Merab 2 out there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad for my man Hani. I like to see him get wins, and now he's on 3 of them. And he called out Rob Font, which is a solid call out. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I just feel so gross about Cody. It's like he had one of the greatest performances I've ever seen in my entire life against Dominic Cruz. And ever since, it's just been a gradual downhill slide. Not even gradual. It was like a big dip, and then like the trajectory never really went back.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's just one of those things that he's one of the purest athletic talents to ever be in the game. And the problem with being such an amazing athletic talent is that it can be hard to have to adjust to anything else, Like TJ Dillashaw went out there and just showed him, like, okay, you can't rely on just being fast and athletic. If you're not going to dodge punches, if you're just going to let me hit you over and over again, I'm going to knock you out.
But it just doesn't make sense. How can you go out and do that to Dom Cruz? Be the slickest thing on 2 feet. Like watching that fight is just it's remarkable that anyone can do that. Like that was he was full God mode in that fight. He was so elusive, so slick, so well timed, but it's such a one-off. It's such an anomaly.
It's also something where I think he had the perfect kryptonite to Cruz's game, because Cruz is all about being fast and difficult to read, and Garbrandt was able to just stay with him at every point.
But why can't he do that with anybody else?
Because other people have games that are built more on things like pressuring consistently. Like Cruz's game isn't built on that. Cruz isn't going to go out there and like try to back you down all the time. Cruz is going to go out there and he's going to dance around. And he's going to try to make you confused. And so Garbrandt was able to go out there and just boom, boom, boom. Okay, I can match you step for step. I can stay in front of you. But TJ Dillashaw just went out there and said, okay, what if I march you down and throw 5 right hands in a row and you block none of them?
He was also this close to beating Dillashaw.
He was.
He was this close.
He was, but Dillashaw is just a much, much like more. Here's a basic, pressure works. These combinations work. Yada yada yada. Go after and do the same thing.
Dillashaw is a way better fighter here for sure. But I think when he screamed in Cody's face is when it he took his soul.
Yeah. No, I mean that's a lot of it too. Is that Garbrandt clearly he fights on his ego. Like when he's feeling good, he's fighting electric. But his ego is also a thing that puts him in a lot of danger because he then doesn't defend and he doesn't necessarily pay attention to stuff. And so I think for him it's got to be incredibly difficult to make that switch of like, oh, the thing that made me my absolute best and have the most electric performance of my life is also the thing that gets me fucked up.
Yeah. Even in this fight, there was a moment where he got caught so clean with the right hand and he just put his hands down and just took a breath.
And it's like, dude, he's just gonna hit you with 4 more right hands. You can't do that. Yeah. You can't. But at the same time, Barcelos has lost enough of a step that, somebody was mentioning Barcelos just went out there and, could hit him with shots and just didn't keep doing that. It's because didn't keep throwing jabs. And it's just Barcelos used to have a lot more foot speed. He used to be a lot more dynamic. And now he's just, he's still fast. He's still strong. He was an incredible athlete in his prime.
I wish Barcelos would have agreed to the Max Justin situation for the last 10 seconds. That was a little disappointing.
Barcelos knew he had that fight won, and
I know it was too smart.
Yeah,
damn it.
The nice thing for Max and Justin is they're guys who made it to the top, and so they're like, oh, I don't really, I met my goals. Barcelos is a dude who. He was supposed to be a contender and he never achieved it. So he's really
no, I get it.
Counting every win.
High IQ.
Yeah.
But the bloodthirst in me just wanted to see a nasty brawl break out.
Yeah. Barcelos made his call out to Rob Font. He's not really in position to get that fight, but maybe. Otherwise, a fight we could fight Ayman Zahabi or something. That would
at least
make
it's
sense.
A call out. Yeah, Zahabi's a good fight. That's good too.
And for Garbrandt, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
It really is too bad that Cruz couldn't keep his body together, because a Cruz Garbrandt rematch would be one of the few fun things out there to do.
I wouldn't want to see it. I need that image of their first fight just left in place. I don't need anything tainting that for me. That's, again, one of the best single performances I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, you know what we could do, though? You could do Cody Garbrandt versus Patchy Mix. After Mix's horrible bed shitting debut, he needs some kind of recognizable bounce back.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, because otherwise, what are you going to do? You're just going to be like, okay, yeah, let's just book, I don't know, Cody Garbrandt.
Is Peyton Talbot booked?
Peyton Talbot got booked against, what's his name? He just got oh, God damn it. This is really annoying. Swedish Brazilian fighter, I want to say. Andre Lima, not Andre Lima, but Felipe Lima. There we go.
Okay.
Felipe Lima, who is a complete beast and beat gosh, this is all. Damn it. Felipe Lima is the one who beat. Oh, come on. Load, damn you.
What are you on, Wikipedia or something?
I'm on Tapology. I'm getting there. Miles Johns last time and Muhammad Naimov on 2 days' notice or a week's notice in his debut up a division. So Talbot's got a serious challenge in front of him.
Well, if Talbot loses that, then Cody would be a good fight, or maybe we send Cody over to Dirty Boxing.
Yeah, he seems like a dude who would probably be in BKFC. Like, I'm not sure why he wouldn't be over in. I mean, I'm sure the money is better in the UFC, but like,
he should go to Dirty Boxing instead of BKFC.
Yeah.
By the way, Rosenstrike got a knockout tonight in Dirty Boxing. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So.
Oh, Alex Caceres lost.
Yeah, I didn't realize Caceres. I'd forgotten Caceres even got cut.
Yeah.
Shame. He's always. I mean, that's one of those ones. It's like, why cut Alex Caceres? Alex Caceres is always in fun fights.
Irony, he got a nasty cut tonight, like a big
ass
gash on his cheek.
All right. Otherwise, middleweight bout: Mansour Abdul Malik, Cody Brundage, and
this is some stupid shit right here.
Yeah, this fight sucked too.
This is so stupid. First round, boring. There was like that up kick that kind of wobbled Brundage for a second. Other than that, garbage. The second round, also tentative, garbage. There was like a cut on Cody's ear. Other than that, unremarkable. Third round starts, fucking fireworks. Crazy brawl. They're going for it, blah, blah, blah. Clash of heads leads to a KO or TKO. Yeah. They rule it, or it goes to a technical decision, which is fucking garbage. Like, I understand the rule, and sometimes it makes sense, but this is a time where it doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I feel like when two fighters are coming together and just smashing into the pocket against each other like that.
No contest, in my opinion.
I think you can do. I think if you're that late in a fight, you can do a technical decision.
Bro, no. They scored 36 seconds of a round.
Hey, look,
that's stupid.
But fighters know that's always a possibility.
They score 36 seconds of a round. That's crazy.
The rules clearly state that
I know what the rules say.
So you're basically just against technical decisions in any kind of.
I'm saying sometimes it works. Like Cejudo and Song, understandable. Here, yeah.
Nah, I'm fine with the technical decision here. Honestly, I mean, to me, this is just one of those things where if you're Abdul Malik, you got to walk out of this and be like, man, I'm not good enough. Cody Brundage made me look really awkward out there. You know? Like
If they would have just scored the first two rounds, that would have made me feel better. But scoring the 36 seconds of the third round?
It would have been a draw if they just scored the first two rounds.
No. Would it have been? Yeah. It would have.
29-28 on two cards. There's nobody who scored round three for Brundage. Would have been a split draw. Yeah.
Which is weird. That's also weird.
Yeah. No. I think this is the spirit of this is fine. Mansour Abdul Malik should win this fight, but he also was fighting horribly, so
yeah.
Oh yeah, we also have to talk though. No, that was Bolato because we're talking. Is Cody Brundage a flopper? No, that was.
I think he got crushed.
No, he got headbutted. That's there's nothing in that. So yeah, this was just. I mean, the thing with that this fight looked like from Mansour Abdul Malik, and this is what we see a lot in the UFC anymore, is just he's not ready to be fighting on this kind of big stage and really experienced opponents. His offense is not all that well articulated or focused, and he's not all that well carefully trained. He's doing stuff like rushing in with his forehead, like.
There was a lot of that tonight, honestly.
Yeah.
A lot, more than usual. I don't know if it was a lot of the southpaw orthodox matchups or what the case, or poor strikers, but there were a lot of heads clashing.
Somebody though did mention that the fight to make after this is to do Abdul Mansour Malik against Ateba Gatier. the gigantic Cameroonian French kickboxer that they signed, who absolutely wrecked somebody in his debut, who wrecked Jose Medina. But Gautier is actually he's booked against Robert Valentin, so yeah, I don't
care who he fights.
Whatever, just find him somebody, some other powerhouse to fight.
Or they should rebook this for 1 round. We should get a UFC card with just 1 round fights.
There you go. I don't want to see this.
Make it on like a Friday or something.
Yeah.
We'll get Shabazian up there. All our 1 round fighters.
All right.
Piper.
So also on the card, one huge favorite had to lose today, and it ended up being Umarci against Alonzo Menfield. And this also was just a horrifically bad fight. I do not understand. I mean, I understand Alonzo Menfield is a physically intensely scary looking dude, but Umarci is a giant, and he just looked like he had no idea how to fight Menfield at all.
Well, no, he had no idea what to do on the feet.
Which is weird because he just fought Dawoon Jung and just kickboxed him up. Jabs, low kicks, stayed busy, stayed out there, didn't put himself in any danger. It's a clear game plan that would work against Menfield. And he just was not. He was way too gun shy about it at all.
I think it's because of how aggressive and pressuring Menfield was in that first round.
Yeah,
Menfield looked kind of scary in that first round.
He did.
Like,
he's a scary dude. Like, I can get the intimidation. I get it.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. But also, I think the judges got this one wrong.
Yeah, I will say I'm happy. I think there's an argument for C winning it. I'm happy he
not
lost.
Me.
No? Oh, you think?
Third round, I scored 10-10.
Oh, you think it's a draw?
Yeah.
Okay, well.
That third round was so stale, cell phone flashlights and all. 10-10 round or 9-9, whichever's funnier.
Fair enough. I mean, no judge is going to score a 10-10 round, so it's moot. But yeah, I mean, I'm just glad C lost it, honestly, because as a young unbeaten prospect, like he just this was
he deserved to lose this.
Yeah, this needed to be a wake up call. Like, dude,
I think he gassed out in the second round with all the grappling.
Could be.
Yeah. I don't think the grappling was as easy as he thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Oh, somebody asking, why are middleweight fights always the worst? Is it the body type?
I think it's because in that division, you have more people make it to the big show just off of being big and a better athlete, that the skills aren't as developed. And so they get expedited.
It's a weird misfit division, too. Like, you watch a lot of regional MMA, and I've done a lot of regional scouting. Middleweight is one of those divisions where you would think it's like, oh, there's a ton of welterweights, there's a ton of lightweights, there's a ton of featherweights. There are going to be some middleweights out there too. And then you go start looking around, and you're like, oh, there are 0 regional middleweights out there. Because
that's another point, because they're playing real sports.
They're playing real sports. You're starting to get into the size range where guys who are really athletic are playing football, soccer,
baseball,
hockey,
basketball.
Yeah, things that not basketball because that's they're huge, but who cares? But they're playing sports that play. You're not getting a 6'1" basketball player unless they're like the greatest, basketball player out there. But nonetheless, like it is where you start getting real athletes, but also regionally, guys who are like 6'3" are just not going to cut weight because they can go fight heavyweight. If you're a good athlete on the regionals, like, why are you going to cut that middleweight weight? They don't. It's a weird misfit division that tends to just attract really strange misfit athletes. And a lot of the people that succeed in the UFC, you see a lot of guys who are really one note, who come in with a game where they have one really deep skill set. You know, your Adesanyas, your Pereiras, your, Rodolfo Vieira, or as we saw on this card, like Andre Petroski, guys like that. And they tend to face only a bunch of guys that can't stop that one thing they do well for like years on end. And so they build these really weird insular games. You know, it's a kind of division where somebody like GM3 can be like win 60% of his fights and stick around for 10 years, you know? Yeah. It's just a misfit, strange division. I don't know.
Yeah. You see a lot of guys who maybe could make welterweight, but it's also kind of too far to cut down.
Yeah, because it's also that big gap. Suddenly you get the 15-pound jump instead of just the 10 pounds.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, that brings us to a light heavyweight bout. Paul Craig, Rodolfo Bolato. And
what the fuck was this?
I have a theory.
Great.
I seriously doubt that Rodolfo Bolato is even a fast enough thinker to think, oh, I should sell this more and like pretend I got knocked out. I think he got kicked in the face and he did want to sell it a little to the ref. And
you think he knocked himself out?
I think he whipped his head back and he passed out the way like when you stand up really fast and your blood pressure drops. And I think he just passed the fuck out and then woke back up. And I legitimately think he had no clue when he was waking up. Like, he spent like a minute trying to wrestle play guard against the ref.
Yeah, he was
like, even if you're playing knocked out, nobody does that.
He's not that great of an actor, but we've seen delayed knockouts before,
exactly.
Right? Barbosa and someone that should be in the UFC but isn't. What's his name?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Yeah, Burgos.
Shane Burgos, yeah.
Shane Burgos.
Yeah. Weird, where, you see it and you're like, wait, is this real? Yeah, so delayed knockouts happen all the time. So was he flopping? Was he not flopping? Let's just say he's not flopping.
I'm going to assume, especially too, because people say, oh, he flopped, yada, yada, yada. I was like, what would be the point? This is one of those things where, we argue about the round 3. Should that have been a technical decision? Should it have been a no contest? Whatever. A foul ends a fight in round 1. If we're saying this dude's thinking at light speed here, if you are a fight ends to a foul in round 1, that's going to be a no contest every single time, unless the foul is so clearly, repeatedly, and heavily, obviously meant that the ref has no choice but to do a DQ. No ref is going to do a DQ
this
on a round 1.
100% should be a DQ.
It's never going to be.
This should be. This should be a DQ, right? Because it's a guy kicking somebody in the fucking face. This isn't an accidental clash of heads or like an eye poke and some weird shit. This is someone using his weapon, like consciously. This is what I'm doing. It's a weapon. It's not an accidental anything. It was an intentional strike, and it was illegal. And it was so bad that the guy couldn't continue. That's a disqualification. That should be 100% DQ. However, stupid rule. That should be a legal strike. You should be able to kick somebody in the face if they're on top of you.
Yeah.
Like if someone's on top of you and you're in a position where you can kick them in the face, you should be able to kick them in the face.
You should. All up kicks should be legal. Also, I got to point this out. Somebody's saying, oh, you posted the replay in super slow motion and it looks like a flop then. Super slow-mo is actually a terrible way to try to judge whether somebody is flopping or not. What you see in super slow-mo is so, you are trying to then dissect micro emotions in real time, where if you actually just watch it in normal speed, don't watch super slow-mo, because you don't.
Well, I think
something happens to you,
the
you
point of the
fake it.
slow-mo was just to, accentuate how he was like looking to the ref with his hands out.
Yeah,
And
like
they were unconscious.
I really do think, like I say, he whipped his head back, and I think he passed the fuck out. Like, honestly, but like super slow-mo is not. People don't react to things in slow motion. They react to things in normal speed. You watch it at normal speed, you judge somebody's reactions at normal speed, you put it in slow motion. That's where conspiracy theories are born. That's where you're like, oh, well, if you look at it in slow motion, his eyes actually dart left for a second, and they would never dart left. Like, you don't fucking know. Don't look at stuff in super slow-mo to try to figure out whether it's true or not.
Whether or not it was a flop, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whether or not this should have been a DQ, yes, it fucking should have been. 100%. This was not an accidental anything. This wasn't like the dude was trying to kick him and accidentally hit the nuts.
No, I know.
This was a deliberate
MMA and fouls, that's a whole different thing, too. The whole idea of incidental, intentional.
Right. So, was it a flop? We'll never know. Should it have been a DQ? Yes. Is it a stupid rule, and should upkicks be legal at all times? Yes, they should.
Is it ever going to be called a DQ? In actuality, almost never.
It's so rare, and it's so subjective.
Yeah. And somebody pointing out that Anderson Silva got DQ'd against Yushin Okami, yes, in Super Brawl in like 1999.
Yeah, but he avenged that loss.
Yeah. And that was also one where we want to talk intentionality. Like, he was fully in guard. Anderson Silva took his heel and was like, clipped him across the head in one of the most amazing up kick knockouts you've ever seen in your life.
Jesus.
Like, that
legal.
That should be more legal than anything else. But it is not a display of, like, it's not really a comparable situation. So I'm not gonna, that's not a good way to try and judge what a modern ref is gonna do in a modern UFC fight.
It's subjective. That's another thing. It's at the ref's discretion of whether or not it was intentional, which is dumb. Because it's like the strike was intentional, but did he know he was down? Well, he fucking should. He's fighting. Like,
yeah.
I digress.
Anyway.
Horrible, horrible situation for everybody, all of us, for fighters, everyone.
Don't run it back, though. I don't care anymore. Neither of these guys need to be here. We don't need to be doing this. Just flush it all down the toilet, please, and move on. All right. That brings us to a welterweight bout. Michael Chiesa and Court McGee, and the joys of two wrestlers kickboxing.
Man, what a fucking shit show this was.
Yep.
Both guys gun shy. Both guys afraid to commit.
I think it's
both guys too experienced to have this shitty of a fight.
Yeah, I think it's two guys that like each other too much.
I guess.
Like, they just, and because why the hell would Michael Chiesa be afraid of Court McGee striking? And why the hell would Court McGee be afraid of Michael Chiesa striking? Like, what do you guys have to fear from each other? You guys haven't knocked anybody out since Jesus walked the earth. Like, come on.
This was, I can't.
This is a great argument that if we have stand-ups, we should also have put-downs.
Ooh.
Where the ref puts two fighters in 50-50 guard.
Yeah. Or start from your knees. Or like,
no, 50-50, because that's everybody equal advantage that way. Nobody has the advantage. You start in 50-50.
Yeah.
So you should just, like...
I love that.
Right? If you're going to have a shitty striking match, then the ref should be able to be like, no, down. We're not doing this. Man,
that's brilliant.
So, yes, Michael Chiesa won it. But if this is his whole, like, I'm going to make another run at the top, this is not selling anyone on that.
The most significant strike in this whole fight was when McGee kicked Chiesa in the nuts.
Yeah.
That was the most significant.
That was a clean one.
Yeah. No, it was. But most significant strike of the whole fight.
Yeah.
It's a total snoozer.
Okay, now let's get to some actually good fights.
Yeah.
Malcolm Wellmaker it's got to be said, man. Like, this guy's game, it feels thin. Feels like he makes a lot of defensive errors. There's all this stuff about it that I'm like, he's gonna pay for this really badly at some point. The kid has real power. Like,
I mean, it's not just the power though. He has some craft to him.
Yeah, there's accuracy and there's consistency too.
The way he set up that knockout by throwing the body kick and then faking the body kick and coming with the hook. That's genius. That is genius stuff there.
He is a legit killer. And
Killmaker's good.
Killmaker, yeah, legit Killmaker.
Yeah, he's a Killmaker. That's fantastic also.
Metal.
You're on fire, Zane.
And yeah, I mean, the guy is just, he's fun, and it's time to start paying attention because, like, Moutinho is not UFC level. He's not great. He was brought in to lose, but he has over his career proved to be very, very durable.
Yeah, O'Malley took 3 rounds to get him out of it.
And it is the kind of fight where, like, those kind of fights should have the potential to press Wellmaker, where he has a game that less talented fighters could put pressure on him, force him to really work hard, put lots of combinations on him, force him into bad defensive spots, stuff like that. Moutinho went out and tried to do exactly that, flattened. So
yeah,
this is exactly the kind of stuff that, this is the exact kind of performance Wellmaker needs to keep showing to really prove himself. So I like it.
He's going to start finding it difficult to find opponents. He keeps this shit up. He's fucking flattening people.
Yeah.
Let him fight Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, there you go. And right before that, Jose Ochoa. I came out of that fight he had with who's the super prospect? Damn it. That he fought in his first fight. Somebody can tell me in the chat there if you get to it before I do. I'm getting there, and it is
Loner Kavanaugh.
Yeah, he fought Loner Kavanaugh. I came out of that fight really high on Jose Ochoa, even in a loss.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he reminds me a lot of, like, early career Israel Adesanya, with, like, his stance and his flow and his kickboxing. And he puts himself in some danger. He got himself in trouble here a couple times against Cody Durden.
Sure.
But, man, I love the way he just, even after getting hurt a couple times by Durden, he came out in round 2 and is just like, nah, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going right after you again.
And he fights like a fighting nerd.
Yeah, he fights.
Menace Bahalio.
Yeah. He is fluid. He puts, and I love the way he strings his combos together. Really creative.
I love the volume.
Yep.
Like, you're a flyweight, throw all the fucking volume.
Yeah.
And he's got power.
Yeah, this is a kid, like I said, I came out of that Kavanaugh fight really, really impressed by him. And this was an amazing performance to come off of that, because Kavanaugh is a better athlete, a more dynamic technical striker than Cody Durden. But Cody Durden is a huge pain in the ass to fight, and an actual seasoned veteran.
Yeah.
A tough guy to just take over a fight against. So for Ochoa to go from Kavanaugh to Durden, it's like, okay, you're not getting a step back, honestly.
Yeah, it's like a sideways step.
Yeah. And so for him to go out there and just, crush him, that's a great look. Love to see it.
Yeah, everything was great. Like, a little bit of adversity, right? He had to show his chin off a little bit.
Yeah.
Comes back and took what was a competitive fight and just closed the door.
Yep. Love to see it.
That's G shit right there. And you got flyweights knocking fuckers out. Like,
yeah.
I'm here for it.
Ricky Simone beat Cameron Smotherman. That was just a setup. Smotherman came in on like 5 days' notice to fight Ricky Simone, and It's just you're not going to win that fight. There's no way.
No, just Simone's too experienced, too much of a veteran.
Yeah,
too smart.
Phil Rowe though against Angelusa. This was a good fight.
Man, I was like, I picked Rowe here.
Me too, yeah.
And I was like worried about my pick, and I'm like, man, like, what are you doing? You're getting controlled on the ground. Like,
he loves taking pictures of his work. He gets tracked in on single ideas and doesn't really evolve his game at all round to round.
Yeah, he will let you hit him.
Yeah.
He will let you hit him. He will punch his way into position just for you to hit him.
Yeah.
But damn it, he stayed the course, stayed composed, stayed patient. Lusa got tired, or Losa, however you say it. He ended up petering out, and Rowe just went after him.
Really enjoyed it. Really great performance. Really fun fight. And then, otherwise, Jamie Lynn Horth, Vanessa Demopoulos, solid women's flyweight bout to open the card.
Yeah, with short notice Demopoulos, who's not a flyweight.
Yeah. She got bullied out there. Horth did what she was supposed to.
There's the whole size thing, but also Horth is just technically better everywhere also.
Yeah.
So she got to style, which is something she doesn't often get to do. So
yep.
Whatevs.
Yeah. So it started out really promising, this card, and then it just dragged.
Yeah. We just had the Blanchfield card where the whole fucking the main event got canceled, and that was really bad. This is somehow worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So much weird shit and shitty fights and tentative fights.
Well, I mean, it was longer. That's really the hurt too. Where, like, you know, at least Gamrot Klein, we lose the main event and we only had like a 10-fight card. It's like, okay, it's it's not good, but it's nice and tight and short. This, you've got a 13-fight card. It's just like, man, it's just is forever.
I could have done with 4 of these fights.
Yes.
Everything else.
All right. On that note, we'll have a little bonus content for our subscribers, and if you're not a subscriber, check out the link down there. Subscribe, stand up, support, all that. Help us out. And otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Zane Simon, and on Blue Sky, and on Substack at Zane Simon. And you can find Eddie on whatever platforms he chooses to be on at the Eddie Mercado.
That's right.
So, thanks everyone for tuning in.
It's in space.
That's right. Find Eddie floating through the depths. All right. Adios, everyone.